This is the best strategic sword build you will see on Where Winds Meet. And then usually for bosses, you just want to parry everything, so if you're having trouble with any of the content, it's too hard for you, you're not doing enough damage in raids, you don't see your cool MVP screen that you paid $400 for, well, this is going to show you how you can do that. Trust me, I've seen too many whales not do enough damage. So we're going to get into it. I'm just kidding. This is just what I enjoy using, but I do top the damage charts consistently. And I think this is probably one of the best out there. So I'm going to go through all of the weapons, all of the inner ways, and all of the mystic skills off the bat. And then I'm going to show you a full gameplay raid of me doing this and seeing where I land in the DPS charts. So as you know, this is for strategic sword. I think it is one of the strongest builds right now, PvE, other than Umbrella and Fan. That's very strong as well because you don't have to follow a lot of the mechanics. But I think strategic sword is just as good. It's only a little trickier because you need to follow the mechanics better and you can't just hit it from ranged. The reason I like strategic sword is it's a very fun, fast-paced gameplay. You're always doing something new. You're never just standing back. So of course, you know, martial arts, strategic sword, and Heaven Quaker Spear, you're going to want those. And then for the inner ways, Morale Chant is just a constant, very good overall, gives you a lot of damage boost. Sword Horizon is the go-to for strategic sword. It's just very good overall, good damage boost. So those are non-negotiable. I like Fivefold Bleed, especially because I have it tier 5. So it's very strong. I think it pairs well with the bleed from strategic sword and how many times you're attacking. There's two things you can do here. When I'm in a raid and I'm not worried about like taking damage, I'll do this setup because the only difference here is Wolf Chaser's Art. Instead of Wolf Chaser's Art, if I was doing a solo boss, I would add in Invigorated Warrior. Let me explain why. Maybe that doesn't make sense to you. So when you're in a raid and you're getting hit a lot, taking damage, not really worried about parrying, Wolf Chaser's Art is really good because this can give you free DPS, especially when you get it to tier 4 at least. You get up to 25% damage increase, which is insane. And I'll go over that in the rotation later, how you use this and benefit from it. Let's say you're doing a solo boss. For a solo boss, if you're grinding solo campaign trials or something, I would use Invigorated Warrior. Invigorated Warrior is really good because if you don't take damage, it's a very, very fat damage boost. But you have to parry everything, you have to dodge everything, or else you start taking more damage. But what I'm going to be showing you today is mainly for the raids, right? When you want to flex on other people, the DPS charts, we're going to use Wolf Chaser's Art. Mystic skills, pretty basic all around. You have Soaring Spin. It does a lot of damage. It's really good at gap closing. You have Dragon's Breath. It does a lot of damage. You have Drunken Poet. It's animation cancel for Dragon's Breath. I'll show you that later in the rotation. And then you have Leaping Toad. You could put really anything here. I have Leaping Toad just because I use it in PvP sometimes. I don't feel like changing it. So Serene Breeze, I use it in PvP. I don't feel like changing it. The ones I do change from PvP though is Cloud Steps. You need that for some bosses just to gap close. It's like the best gap closer in the game. And then Celestial Seas is pretty good because some bosses have mechanics where you have to Celestial Seize them. In a big raid, it's not too useful. Meridian Touch is also good. It's good for like open world exploration. This is also kind of my open world exploration build. Honestly, mainly for the PvE big raids, I'm using these top 4 and Cloud Steps. And that's pretty much it. As you can see, my improvement guide, I'm pretty high level. You want to make sure you're as high level as you can be. That definitely helps a ton. As for your gear, you're going to want to go with the Hawking set and then the Eagle Rise set for damage. Now, the stats on the gear, they matter, but I would just say as long as you get these full sets on like purple or legendary gear and you tune them out all the way, you'll be doing a ton of damage. The main stats you want to look for in this order is minimum attack of another path. For example, minimum stone split attack, really good. That one is the best because for some reason, how the game works and all the mathematics that goes into it, the minimum of another path benefits you a ton because it's higher than the maximum of that respective path and damage. I can't explain it better than that. You're just gonna have to trust me on this one. Honestly, you're not gonna get all the stats you want. So just look out for ones and maybe replace it when you can. Make sure you enhance all your gear all the way. It costs a lot of money to do this. It's really rough, but it will help a lot. Now for Arsenal, you want Bell Strike because that's the path you're using. Make sure you fill out your Arsenal all the way. Divinecraft, I don't know what's the best. I use Poison. I think Fire is also really good. We're going to use Poison for this video. Now, these boss talents help. I have completed the whole boss talent tree, so that's going to net me a lot more damage than everyone else. So that definitely helps a lot, but I was still topping the charts even before I maxed out this list. So we're going to do Drunken Poet off the bat. We're going to put on our Poison. We're going to Cloud Steps to the boss. And we're going to Soaring Strike through the boss. Q, into another Q on your spear. Then you're going to charge up a heavy attack on the spear, do the Dragon's Breath, switch back to your sword, do your special skill twice in a row. If you can do it 3 in a row, do it 3 in a row. And then Mystic. Okay, that's awkward. You can Meridian touch that, actually. If you time it correctly, you can also Cloud Step it. So whenever you get messed up in your rotation, what I do is I go back to the QQ and Strategic Sword into the Q on the Spear to kind of build up your 25% damage buff. And then you just start your combo over. But if you ever get turned into a deer like this, or something happens that messes your combo up, you're always going to start from there. So this is actually a pretty good example of like what you should be doing. Because like we get our thing messed up all the time. We're going to QQ again, back into the Spear Q, Spear heavy attack, into Breathing Fire. You see there, I didn't charge up my Drunken Breath, so I kind of like had that animation. But we're going to do this. The heavy attack with, or the special skill with that into the QQ. Okay. I'm not gonna lie, guys. Describing all these attacks is hurting my brain. I never really practiced this before, and now I'm a donkey. But as you can see on the damage chart, you know, I'm messing up. I'm getting turned into a donkey, but I'm still doing a ton of damage. I'm still on the top of the charts. But if we can get a good combo going, I'll show you. Don't forget to apply the poison. So when he lands, you always want to gap close, hit him with the Q on the Strategic Sword twice, into the Q on the Heaven Quaker Spear, charge up a heavy attack. I'm going to do Drunken Poet to animation cancel. We're going to get back because he's going to try to donkey us. Okay. Now what we could do here is we could go into these special attacks like what I'm doing. And that's totally fine. You'll get a lot of damage that way. But we have run out on our buffs. So we're just going to buff back up by Qing only twice. Don't forget, not 3 times. Charge up Heaven Quaker Spear, Dragon Breath, switch back into the sword, and do these heavy attacks again. It's that simple. I do end up starting over a lot. Now, if you saw what I did right there, it was kind of confusing. Instead of doing my 3 special attacks, let me show you how to dodge this. So when it's at this one, you press Cloud Steps, and boom. Now you don't get caught in the thing. So we're going to Q him, do our combo. I'm talking a lot. Gap close. It's very fluid. You'll learn how to be fluid when you do this a lot. For example, right now, I might be out of energy, so I'll do a Soaring Spin into another special sword skill. Does that make sense? You gotta learn how to be fluid in the combo, and once you do it a ton of times, you definitely will get fluid in it, and you'll learn different ways you can like segue into different parts of the combo. It's kind of confusing. It just takes a lot of practice, but as you can see, I was kind of brain off talking to you guys the whole time, and whoa, why does it look like this? As you can see, brain off, it's still pretty easy to do it. Let me show you that combo again without anyone in the way. So this is the combo you're gonna do. QQ only twice, switch to Spear, Q with Spear, heavy attack with Spear. You're gonna wanna have your Drunken Poet already charged, so you can go into the fire like that, and then you do the special attack. You're gonna do it 3 times, but if you can't do it 3 times, it's really important. You can use a Soaring Spin and then do it the 3rd time if you don't have enough endurance, right? And then you start back into the next combo by queuing twice again. Now, when it comes to campaign challenges, the build gets different because you're solo, you can't tank everything, and therefore I'm not really gonna be getting the full charge of my spear off because I don't prefer to do that. And I think you get a lot of flat damage out of Invigorated Warrior. So I'm going to show you guys how this works. You're going to start with your spear. You can like buff up here maybe. I'm not sure. Drink your water. So we're going to do this attack just to get a damage boost. Then we're just going to jump at him. And then usually for bosses, you just want to parry everything. So die. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to walk in, you're going to want to buff up by doing this, drinking your water. Doing this is the damage buff and animation canceling. Then you go in here, and you're going to want to parry as much as you can. Kind of hit him with whatever, it doesn't matter. Parry that ability. Then, when he's in the cooldown phase, you're going to breathe fire on him, do your Qs. Soaring Spin whenever you can. Do another Q to get the damage buff. Heavy charge. Parry it. Honestly, solo is mainly about parrying, but as you can see, now he's dead. So once you get used to the boss, any build can really do that. But if you're trying to min-max over a long period of time, I think this build is really good. If you're parrying everything, you're getting a lot of hit, a lot of physical penetration, and a lot of loot. So yummy, yummy, yummy. Give me all that loot. So that's basically the build, guys. It's pretty simple, pretty easy. Basically, the best tip I can give you is to kind of watch exactly what I did, listen to the rotation I said, practice it a lot, learning the rotation to where you can do it without thinking, and then you can learn how to pick up where you left off if you get turned into a donkey and things like that. Hope you guys enjoy. Don't take this into PvP. This isn't exactly the same in PvP. It's a bit different. Have a good day.